The man charged with shooting Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and others in Tucson was back in court today, smiling as he walked in. Jared Loughner pleaded not guilty to federal charges that he tried to assassinate Congresswoman Giffords and two of her aides. And while Loughner was in court in Arizona, Giffords continued her long and hard road back in Houston. Tonight, Bob Woodruff has the latest from the hospital.
Silence today at Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston in wake of the announcement this weekend that Congresswoman Giffords had suffered her first setback, fluid on the brain. The accumulation of fluids in the brain occurs when a bullet penetrates the skull, making the brain bleed or swell. To remove the excess brain fluid, doctors have likely inserted a drain into a hole in her skull.
Pressure built up perhaps too quickly for the brain to accommodate, which could cause what we call herniation, and that could mean a very rapid demise.
It could be a couple weeks before doctors determine if this is a temporary accumulation of fluid or if it is more serious, requiring a permanent shunt to drain fluid. This is not uncommon for someone suffering this kind of wound from a gunshot or explosion on the battlefield.
Probably somewhere around 30% of patients who have a penetrating brain injury will go on to require a shunt.
Giffords has passed the most critical period for complications, but she isn't out of the woods yet.
The things we worry about more in brain injury are the cognitive abilities or the intellectual abilities, the behavioral, and then the emotional or the psychological or psychiatric.
For now, Giffords will continue 3 hours of therapy a day in the ICU, sitting up, walking, and possibly speech therapy, while doctors hope the fluids will go down.
Now, personally, I also had fluid accumulation when I was hit in Iraq. After 2 weeks, it was actually absorbed while I was still unconscious. That is what happens with 2 out of 3 patients. And now doctors are waiting to see what will happen with Congresswoman Giffords.